Good morning and welcome to the NetFlow Analyzer free training series. So before we begin, I just wanted to give a short brief about myself. I am Deepak Suresh, product specialist with NetFlow Analyzer. I will be your trainer for today. And with my knowledge with working with NetFlow Analyzer, I just wanted to share some basic details that you would be requiring if you are looking at NetFlow Analyzer for the first time, or if you are an older customer with us, you can see what are the new features that we have and how you can optimize the best performance out of your setup. So talking about what exactly are we looking at today, it's the first part of a two-part series. This part we will be looking at getting the initial settings right. Yes. So how do you set up the product, or let's say if you are coming from an older version and if you downloaded a new version, how do you set it up and how do you get the most out of it? So just a quick reminder, we do have a team of panelists to answer all your questions. So in case of any questions that you have during the due course of this particular training session, all you have to do is just go to the questions panel that you have and drop in your questions. We would be able to answer you right away. So our agenda for today would be what exactly is NetFlow Analyzer, what our product does, what are the different features we have, and how does it help you out. So what we will be looking into. How do you get started with NetFlow Analyzer? So now that you've decided on, trying giving NetFlow Analyzer a go, how do you get started with that? Is what we look at. What are the different analysis that we do when it comes to your network traffic? Will be discussed. The different reports that is available within our product. So we do have a long list of reports. We would be looking into like the top 5 that you would be using on a day-to-day basis. Customization, which is possible with our product. So how do you create or change this entire UI as per your requirement? And finally, we also be looking into issue identification. So basically, any kind of issue that would happen in your environment, how do you go ahead and troubleshoot it with easy steps in NetFlow Analyzer? So starting with what is NetFlow Analyzer? So NetFlow Analyzer in simple terms is going to be your one-stop solution for traffic analysis and bandwidth monitoring. And when I say this, it is going to be in-depth. So we'll be able to explain everything in detail to the very minute. So how is this possible is by looking into the different flow package. So as you're aware, the product looks into or receives the different flow package that comes up in the different switches, routers, and firewalls that we work with. The supported flows are listed here. We do have NetFlow, SFlow, JFlow, IPFix, NetStream, and AppFlow. So what we basically do is we'll be sending the flows, we receive the flows, and we automatically identify the device and its interfaces or ports. So from there, we'll be able to tell you anything related to your metrics like the speed, the volume, the utilization, top talkers, all of that. So that's how it works. What are the different details we can talk to you about from just your flow package is we can tell you what is the bandwidth usage and speed. We can talk to you about different kinds of monitoring available with our product, like the Cisco's AVC, application visibility and control, that talks to you about how an application usage is. The wireless LAN controller traffic that is being monitored, WLC. You have CBQoS monitoring, so class-based QoS can be monitored with us. ipsla for your VoIP and WAN connection. Medianet and multicast monitoring is also available. Not just that, you can also group your traffic with us for a better understanding and the scalability of our product. And finally, we do have this one key feature called as the advanced security analytics. Uh, so what happens here is that this is basically going to alert you if in case of any attack that would come up. So something like a DDoS attack, even before it happens, we can alert you and you can be secure before that. So this is for the second session, just to let you know. You can tune in same time tomorrow, next week, and you can have that details. So talking about the different features, I just want to talk about what do you need in order to go ahead and get started. So the minimum system requirements that is required for you to start up the entire usage with NetFlow Analyzer is starting with the server that you're going to install the product on. So the processor can be anything as low as 3.2 gigahertz of quad-core processor or more. The RAM can be 6 GB of a minimum, and you can go upwards depending upon your flow rate. The database size can be anything starting with 200 GB, and you can go upwards again. Our product comes bundled with PostgreSQL, but if you wish to use MS SQL, you can do that. We can provide you the steps. And our product can be installed on any server which runs on Windows or Linux operating system. You can also install it on a virtual machine, so that's no problem, as long as it has these minimum system requirements. So just to let you know, these specifications only apply when the raw data is turned off. We have two types of data. Raw data is the unprocessed information, and then we process it. We call it the aggregated data. So if the unprocessed data is off, and if your incoming flow rate is going to be, let's say, 6,000 or below, as in these are the flow packets that's coming in per second. If it is below that number, then these would work fine. But if it's going to be more, just let us know so that we can customize the settings for you. Okay. So starting with what exactly is required for you to start up with the flow export. So there are two types. Initially, we use the regular method, which is going to be you manually logging into the device. It can be your it switches out as a firewall, you log into it, and then you export the flow by putting in the commands. So you have the flow export commands based on the device. You put that in. That's going to send out the flows to our product on the 9996 port by default. You can customize it also. You can add 5 different ports to which we can listen to. So the idea is you send out, you put in the commands, we receive it with the flow, and then we show you the bandwidth metrics. This can take up a lot of manual labor and time if in case, let's say you have multiple devices, 20, 30 devices that you need to add. If that is the case, then you can actually use this new technology that we've developed within our product called as export flow. So what this does is that rather than you leaving the UI, then connecting to your device, then putting in the commands, we will do that for you. All you have to do is just give us few details, and based on that, we will be able to export the flows and have the flows come into our product without leaving the UI. So I'll show it to you. I will now be switching for back and forth with my lab and my demo site just to show you how things work. So there's one of my lab here. How do I get started? Is go to settings, discovery, and export flow. So as the name suggests, you're exporting the flow from the UI. So we basically need three details. One is the IP address, basically to identify what device it is that we're going to work with. Second is we need the SNMP. So this SNMP can be either V1, V2, or V3. So all you have to do is just let us know what is the read community. Write is optional, not required, but still, if it's there, no problem. So the idea is we will try to ping the device. We will identify what kind of device it is. So if it's a router, like Cisco router, we will find using this particular SNMP, we'll know whether it's an ISR or ASR, and based on that, we have templates that will export the flow. So if you just put that in, it will work. And to put that in, you need the CLI credentials. So this can be either be telnet or SSH, just like how you take a PuTTY to that particular device, just given the same details, and we can get started with that. So let me show you a real-time example. I'm putting in an IP. I'm selecting the SNMP that is required for this device. This device works with SSH, so I'm just going to put that in. So the username, enable username, I'm just going to put that too. And the password. Okay. So when I go ahead and click on next, this is now going to do a test. It's going to first do a ping test to try to ping the device and get the response. Second would be the SNMP to identify what kind of device it is. And third, the SSH. So we'll just wait for that to be done. Okay, so as you can see, we now have identified the device. Not only that, we've also identified what loopback interface that you need to look with. So it suggests that we work with this particular interface. It's automatically understood that it's an ISR, so it's showing the device type. What is the basic flow that is available for that? The commands are already there. As you can see, it's now pointing to my IP address as in where the product is installed and on the 9996 port. So everything is done. All I have to do is just click on export flow, where this will now be pushed to the device. So NetFlow Analyzer contacts the device, runs these specific commands, and that will have the flow exported to us, which you will see in a few seconds, which will show you the output as of what we are running right now. This usually takes like a few seconds, maximum 30 seconds or so, and depends upon your connectivity basically. So once that is done, you should be able to see a pop-up that will tell you what are the commands that have been run. So as you can see, it is now showing me what are the commands that has been run so far. And on a click of this close, it will take me directly to the inventory. So you remember that we tried adding a device with the IP address 50.140. As you can see, it's already there. It's even found out what are the interfaces that are connected to that. So you can see that too. So you are now able to bring the device into our product without putting in all that commands, 15 to 20 or even more than that many lines of commands. So what are the traffic metrics that you can see from our tool? So it's going to be the device traffic that we look at first. So there are two types of traffic that you look into: device traffic and interface traffic. Yeah. So let me take you to both, as in like how do you see information when it comes to both the details. Yeah. So when it comes to your devices, it is basically going to consolidate all the traffic that is coming up from all your interfaces. So let's say you have like 15 or 20 different interfaces that you have for any device. We're going to bring all of them under one single response, one single setup, and we show you the data over there. So that is the device traffic. This is the page. Now, as you can see, it's showing me the device traffic on a graph that is for the last 1 hour. I can choose between different time frames like 6 hours or 24 hours, yesterday, 7 days a week, month, quarter, or even a custom time period like this Monday. I wanted to see the traffic that happened around 9 a.m. To 11 a.m. So all I have to do is just put in the time frame of my choice, and with that being said, automatically it will come up and it will change to the time frame that you select. So on the device base, as in like this is consolidated that I'm talking to you about. On the interface, it will be a bit different. I'll show you how. Because when it comes to interface, your interface traffic will actually show you much more information than before, because interface traffic is where the granularity starts. We'll be able to show you the traffic in a 1 minute average, meaning if you take the time frame for 1 hour, every single minute we can tell you what are the metrics that we show. So coming to the interface, you can now see that on the interface traffic, so you can see by the name, it's showing you the router name, this is showing you the interface name. So on the interface traffic, you can now see both the in and out traffic on the same page. It's on a 1 minute average, meaning every single minute I can see what is the speed, the volume, utilization, and even packet count. On the device, we only see these first three, as you can see. So that's the idea there. So every minute you can get to the specific data that you want to see in our product. So talking about application, so our product not only shows the basic traffic details, we can also show you the layer 4 traffic by default. So how it works is that you go to the application tab. Now you can see the top 10 applications that are being used. This is on the device. Why? Because we are collecting all the information, as I said, and we'll show you the top 10, which is the top 10 here. You can, if you want to see the protocols behind these applications, just click on this particular icon and that will get you that data. But When you go to the same on the interface level, you can now see that it will be much more elaborate. How? I'll show you. We're now showing you a graph which was not there before, and you can see in a graphical way as of what exactly or which application has been using of the data the most. Just by the color code information, I can find it out. And when I know which application it is, all I have to do is just click on the name of that application. It will go one more level deeper, and I can show you things like the entire transaction that has happened on a conversation view. It's telling me the source, the destination access, the different port and protocol used, and the DSCP involved for this transaction, and how much traffic was exactly used. You also get an individual graph for each of the transaction that is available. Yeah, so that's how you can get drill down information within the application. And talking about top talkers, on the device, you will be able to see the top talkers here under this conversation. So when you go to conversation, we will see the complete list of the transactions that's happened. But on the interface perspective, you will actually get to see more. Let me show you. Double the information if you ask me. So it's going to talk to you about not only the basics, which we saw in the device, but also additional information like the port, protocol, DSCP. And we also have metrics to show you the top sources, as in these are the IP addresses from where the traffic has been generated. So it can be one of your users, and if he's used the most, you can actually see that too. So that's the basic idea. And you can resolve the DNS to, like, you can resolve the IP address, and you can even get which host it is even without leaving the product. And we do have this geolocation function that will actually tell you where the traffic has generated from. So you can see that, like, country based information as of where, which country the traffic has been generating from. This is available for all your transactions, as in, like, this is for let's say your source, the destination, the QoS, all of them. You can see them. As you can see, country wise information is available right there. So some this is one question that we that I get in not only support but also the validators there. So how do you fetch the device and interface name with SNMP? So this is a common thing that comes up. I'll tell you why. Because as you can see from the image, it tells you if index one, if index two for multiple devices. Why this comes up is that, as I said, if you're using export flow, our product will automatically communicate with your device using SNMP, because only using SNMP, we will be able to pull in this detail, the interface and device name. If you can look into the UI, it's telling me the interface name, the device name, what is the link speed, and all of that. These four details is what we get using SNMP. Usually, if you go ahead and have the flows exported directly from the device, sorry, let's say you go to log into the device, send out the flows. In that case, we don't know what the SNMP is. You can map it with us. So all you have to do is just go to the inventory devices, click on the device name. You see this green hamburger menu. Click on it. Select associate SNMP credential. Select the credential that would work for this device and click on test and associate. Once that is done, we will try to communicate with the device and we'll tell you whether it's passed or failed. If it failed, we'll also tell you the possible reasons why, so that you can have that checked. So now that I've associated SNMP, I can now go to this one, edit device details, where I can tell the product to fetch the name from the router. And what detail you want, whether the description, the name, or the alias, I can get each of them. So I can select name and just click on save. So with that being done, you can go to the interface tab and you can see that the interface name will be listed just like how you see here. Four details will be fetched: device name, interface name, link speed, and what kind of interface it is. So if you, like, imagine if you're going to keep changing it, then you don't need to do that. You don't need to come into the UI and then change for every single device. You can actually be automatically updated using this function. If you look into the discovery, we have something called as the inventory updater. So this is something that updates the inventory based on these values. So you can let us know, like, schedule it for a week or daily, monthly, and it will automatically update this detail for you. So going to the next monitoring type, what is medianet and multicast monitoring? So medianet is like, if your organization uses a lot of media-rich traffic for voice and video. So then you can use our tool to improve your QoE. And what are the metrics that we show is we show you the performance statistics like jitter, packet loss, and round trip time. Let me show you that. So we have some of our devices actually sending out the flow. Let me take you to that and help you with it. So starting with MediaNet. So you have a dedicated tab for MediaNet. Again, this is Cisco's proprietary tech. We use that. You can actually see which of the applications that are being used. That is using the media packets, how much is coming up, the media volume is available. You want to see the jitter, the round trip time, and packet loss, you have dedicated tabs for that. Or you can click on this conversation. It is like a bird's eye view of all that you need to see. So you see what application it is, what are the packets, the round trip time, the minimum, maximum, and average jitter, and then comes to your packet loss, how many count, and what is the rate of packet loss that's come up. For in traffic and out traffic, you can specifically select using the radio buttons available. Multicast traffic is, as the name suggests, you're now multi IP multicasting is basically the technology is allowing you as a host, just like how I'm joined in with you all over this webinar. So I'm sending out the packets to a specific group of hosts, not like a broadcast, but a specific group, just like the ones who've joined in for this webinar. I'm sending you this data. So you can now see how much of your multicast traffic is affecting your normal traffic. So the comparison can be seen. You can view this information based on the usage and speed. So let me show you how it works. So you go to the multicast tab. You can now see how your regular traffic is coming up with your multicast traffic. You can specifically select which one, and you can see that. So all the details that you saw before, like the volume, speed, utilization, and packet, you get to see each of them for your multicast traffic that's there. So you now get an idea, because some organization will keep the multicast traffic to be like a maximum of 5% of your overall traffic. So you can confirm that right by this information that's there. IP SLA monitoring. So our product does support IP SLA monitoring, but there are some prerequisites in order for this to work. So how this works is that you specifically work with Cisco routers only. So if you're using like IP, we're going to use like IP SLA for VoIP monitoring, then it is mandatory that you have a Cisco router, which is iOS 15.3 or above. And you will also need to provide the SNMP write community, because we're going to write a particular code, and that's going to create the monitor for us. I'll show it to you in real time, but before that, I just have like a scenario as a word this will be used. So as you're aware, like you have communication between the development center and the headquarters, where your service provider is included. So you have like IP phones that can connect to your switch, in turn connects to your router, and that's going to connect to your service provider using WAN, and to the headquarters on the other end. This not only, you can see that not only is using your IP phones, you can have any person using the setup like to send out uh, video or rich media. Someone's doing like a video call or something like that, and that goes through the same network, as you're aware. And there are like bunch of other different computers or servers that are connected in the development center that would still need to go through the WAN. So the basic idea is we are going to do three types of monitoring when it comes to your IP SLA. One is the VoIP for your IP telephony. WAN network connectivity is possible. Video monitoring is possible. So as you can see, when you add the monitor for VoIP, we show you specific details for the call quality. So mostly you will see things like the round trip time, the jitter, the latency, the packet loss, the MOS score that determines how good the call is, all of that. For your WAN monitor, we'll be able to talk to you about the round trip time, because when you take a WAN connection, this is the major thing that we look into. So the round trip time on a minimum, maximum, and average, how it is coming up, all of that. Video monitor is like a mix and match between both. So you get to see both the jitter, latency, and packet loss, because when we are trying to send out rich media packets, this is what we need to look into. If there's latency, there's going to delay the packets that's coming in and all of that. So you get to choose it and work with that in our product. So going to the next topic. what is application visibility and control. So basically, this is Cisco's proprietary tech, but if you do have any other devices that working with NetFlow, like if they support NBAR, network behavioral analysis, and also if it works with flexible flow. If you have any of them, then we can do a deep packet inspection into the layer 7 traffic that's happening, like let's say HTTP or so, and we can tell you what are the applications that are being accessed by which user, how much data was used on what port, protocol, the DSCP code involved, all of that. So all that is possible with the AVC technology. So basically giving you a visibility into the layer 7 application using this proprietary tech. So again, this is not like an add-on or so. It comes with the product, provided if you have the device that supports this feature, all you have to do is send in the NetFlow version 9 flows, and we can pretty much work with it. So what do you actually get by monitoring this is that you gain visibility into the NBAR 2 applications with Cisco AVC, or which I call the application visibility control. And when we talk about the NBAR, what it is used to do is that you can now identify the web traffic based on the layer 7. You can see URLs, as in like when I say URL, this is going to be the host name information that we're looking at. And we can also see which particular port application is being used. Not only that, we can tell you the host report, as in the URL hit count. You see the domain, which domains were used the most, all of that. You can also see the QoS class hierarchy and the application response time to see what were the connections, any retransmissions, all of that. So as I said, in order to enable it, you don't need to do much. Just make sure that you configure flexible flow on that device, and we can pretty much work with it. So I'll show it to you on a real time as of how it works. So as I said, we can monitor HTTP traffic and ART also. I'll show all of them in the lab. So very simple. All you have to do is send the flows, flexible flow. Yeah. So we do have certain devices that is sending in the flows. You have two tabs of where you can look into. If it's the basic NBAR or the layer 7 traffic that we need to look into, you can go to the NBAR tab. You can now see what are the layer 7 applications that are being used, all of them. So anything like Gmail or so, or anything like a Facebook, which is non-business critical application, you can now see who are the users who's using it, what is the different protocols behind them, the source and destination port, the DHCP code involved, all of that. So anything that is required to identify this transaction is right there. And if you understand that this is a non-business critical application or so, you can use these metrics to go ahead and shape your traffic. So you can shape your traffic with us. That is for the next presentation next week. So please do tune in as of to understand how you can actually do that with the metric that we're showing you. And talking about the HTTP host information as in like the QoS stats, we can show you the different QoS stats here as of what child stat, sorry, the QoS, which is the parent and the child. You can now see the transactions based on the application or conversation here, or you can also see the application response time here. So that's going to talk to me about the different packets, whether it's from client or server, the retransmissions, the transactions, all of that. And HTTP host, as I said, it will talk to you about the different domain-based information there. So you get to see that here. So the host information, you can see what was the domain. You can drill down further, and you can see the transaction that has happened so far within them. So all of these is possible with our tool. Just make sure that you have the flexible flow set up. Tracking the applications, what is consuming the most traffic using NBAR, as you just saw. So what is the next topic is that wireless traffic monitoring. So our product does work with wireless LAN controllers. So you can manage your traffic usage with your WLCs also. How does it work is that we work with the Cisco WLANs as are the controllers. So we can add, just like a regular device, you can have the flow exported from those devices to our product. We will again categorize them based on the controllers or the access points, as you can see. And we can show you metrics like the top traffic usage by access points, by SSIDs, application, client, all of that. You can even group your WLANs by the SSIDs. That's something that you can do. Even access points can be grouped with us. So where you would be needing this, or why this is helpful, is because you can troubleshoot bandwidth spikes by identifying the consumption by the SIDs. You can find the top clients and complete conversation details. So when you select like 1 hour, you not only see the source, destination, and all of that, I mean the clients, you get to see everything, even the application and the transaction that's happened over conversation, all of that. So let me show it to you in real time. So as you can see, we have the controllers added. We can show you the information based on the access points, the SSIDs. You can group your access points and SSIDs with us. Just go ahead, click on these of your choice. So let me go to the any one access point to show you how it works. So as you can see, it's now showing me the traffic for the last 1 hour, just like how you saw for a regular device. You can now see the clients, the SSIDs, the application, the QoS, the conversation. Just like how you saw for a regular device, you can get all that information. Just that instead of the destination and details like that, you get to see the MAC ID details, as in because regular devices, you can go ahead and resolve the DNS. Here we'll be working with the MAC ID, and we can see that detail there. So now that you've brought in all the details using the available devices in your network, how do you go ahead and customize NetFlow Analyzer to fit your network? So that's what we'll be looking into next. So customization available with NetFlow Analyzer. So you can have a lot of questions as of can categorize my traffic usage, and if in case, how do I get to do that? Whether can I do it based on my department, based on the branches, the network subnets, the related apps, or by my wireless LANs? How do you get to do that? So yes, you can do that by all these methods that is possible. All you have to do is just select the different grouping available. So you go to settings, NetFlow, you have group settings. So you have different groupings available with us. Like as you can see, we have device groups, interface groups, application-based groups, DSCP-based groups. We have access points, societies. So many groups that you can actually make use of. Yeah. And how do you sort the traffic by usage? So that's something that we'll be looking into right now. So as I said, we have the different methods of or different types of groups available here: interface, IP, application, DSCP, access points, and SSID. So you might ask, what is the benefit of creating a group at the first place? So basically, I would say that you can monitor the combined bandwidth usage to get a better picture of your traffic consumption. So instead of having all your devices sending out the traffic and then trying to understand what it is, you can now categorize them. Okay, this is my clients, or this is my department, or these are my sites. So you can group them based on that, and now you can get access to that. And the best part is our product is like user based, as in like you do have three different types of users: administrator, super user, operators. Like you have selected access. So that's the thing, if you have like certain operators who work at certain sites, you can provide access to those operators based on the groups that you create. Like you work with this device group or this interface group, and they can only view that information from those devices. So access control based on the device type is, or like based on the user type, you can do it. That's something you can do. And basically this is going to provide you better visibility to improve troubleshooting. So I'll show you different types as of how they are. You have device groups, interface groups, application groups, all of that. You can just go ahead, click on add. It will show you the devices. For your interfaces, like let's say if you want to do it for your port channels or your WLANs, you can do that. But this is one interesting feature called as the IP groups. So how this works is that we are going to create a group based on the IP addresses. It's purely based on the IP addresses. Yeah. So you can go ahead and add like a very single IPs also, or you can add an entire network or a huge range. So you just keep adding it based on the details that you provide. Like I can provide the start and end IP and the mask that is there. And I can also do things like site to site traffic. So if I want to see the traffic that's happening between site A to site B, I just provide those details. If I want to drill down further, I can use the port protocol and DHCP to drill down further. So the idea is next page you will be giving the different interfaces. So you are now grouping the information across multiple devices and interfaces. Yeah, and we are now showing the traffic. How this is helpful is when you go to the inventory, you now have a topic called as IP groups. So I've already created some IP groups for one of my departments like HR. I can now see how they are performing when it comes to traffic. I can just go to the traffic tab. It gives me how that particular department has been using the traffic over the last hour. What are the top applications that are being used in a graphical way? You still get to see the graph that's possible. You can even see the sources, the destination, the transactions here under the conversation. So as you can see, it's giving me a better idea of how each department or each client is using the data based on the IPs alone. This can be across multiple devices, but we are focusing only on the IP addresses. Yep. So can I monitor traffic for my custom application? Yes, you can, certainly, because there are like organizations that use multiple or let's say custom applications. So how do you get to do that? Let me show you. There are actually two ways. You can do it from the global settings, or you can do it right from the application tab itself. I'll show you both. So if you're doing it from your global settings, you just need to go to settings, NetFlow, and you go to mappings. So when you do that, what you're basically doing is you're going to the setting that's showing you the different mappings that is available with our product. So we have application mapping, we have services, DSCP, top sites, and ASU. So in application, we have close to like 11,000 plus. If you can look into the screen here, it's telling me the different 11,000 plus application that we map. So how do we map it is by looking into the port and protocol. So you let us know what is the port or the port range, as you can see, that your application works with, and what is the protocol that is behind them. Then just by giving this information, I can now get into the application and I can have it mapped. How this is helpful is I'll show you. So going forward, not only the applications that we pick up from the flow packet, but if it is a custom application that your organization is running, if it is already mapped in the global settings, we will show it to you here. Or if you know that any one of these applications is using the particular port and protocol, so just click on the show ports. You see that, okay, this is one of my protocol that I'm using, and this 25 is like the source port that I'm using. Just go ahead and click on the plus icon, give it a name, select the port that you get from the destination or source. Let us know what IP range or IP network that your application will run on, and you can go ahead and click on save. Yeah. So going forward, that application will be tracked, and you can now see it listed here. So you get to see your custom application being used in real time. So coming to the next topic, which is what are the top reports of NetFlow Analyzer? We have, like I would say, top five. These are the top five that you use on a day-to-day basis. We do have other reports which will be discussed in the next session. But let me just focus on what exactly are the five that you might use in a DTM. So these are the ones you are now seeing the search report, which is basically doing a search used based on criteria. So you can search between different criteria here. Let me show you. Reports, NetFlow, search report. So you're doing a search and you're getting the value based on the criteria that you select. So what are the different criteria? You have the source address, source network, source nodes, destination based information, application, port range, and DHCP. So you get to choose what detail you want. So when let's say I need to look into the traffic made by one of my IPs, then I need to, just for example, so and I go ahead and say, I want to know what was the application that he was used or how much YouTube that he's been using. All I have to do is just map it. Just an easier example. You can customize it however you want. So you can go ahead and make a search, and based on the time frame that you want to select, you can go ahead and select it, and you can now see the traffic that has come up for the selection that I give. So you can see the transaction that's happened on the device, the interfaces, what are the source, destination, the protocols, all of them under one single report. The second thing is the compare report. So the compare report is basically allowing you to compare the bandwidth usage for different time intervals. This can be for single device or multiple devices. So compare report, as you can see, it's now comparing two entries. So either you can compare multiple devices for the same time period, or you can compare same device for different time period. So when you go ahead and select multiple devices, this is now going to do a scan for all your interfaces at the time frame that you select. So if you're selecting something like last 24 hours, all the devices that you're selecting will come up. Or if you want to compare same device for different time period, just let us know what is the time period. So for that you want to see. Multiple device comparison can be used for load sharing or something like that. Um, compare same device would be used for let's say if you need to bring a device down for maintenance or like a firmware upgrade. So without affecting your business, how do you get to do that? So that's something you can do from this particular second option. The other report is consolidated report. So this is basically allowing you to get all the metrics that is possible with our tool. I mean, like let's say you have one device, you want to get how much usage has come up. You want to see what are the different metrics when it comes to your source, destination, and different applications being used. If that's the case, then I can select this. Let me show you an example. So let's say I want for this particular interface, I want to see the top 10 utilization for yesterday. I selected. I have different metrics to look into the business hours, or if I need to exclude weekends, I can do that. So this is now going to show me the metric with respect to utilization for yesterday. You have different time frames also. So as you can see, it's giving me a 1 minute average for the last 24 hours for that particular interface. It's telling me the top 10 application in, top 10 application out, top 10 source in, source out, and top 10 destination in, destination out. So if your upper management wants to understand, let's say there's been an event, just they're asking you what exactly happened, give me the report for that. Just come back to consolidated report, just go ahead and export it. Or if you want to email them, just send them an email attachment right from this page. So all of these options are available for you to work with. You also have this inventory report. So what this report basically does is that it's going to visualize the combined traffic for all the interfaces. I'll just show it to you in a second. And this one other feature is the billing report. So as the name suggests, you are now able to measure the bandwidth usage to verify your ISP billing. And even you can create bill plans. If you are the ISP, you can create a bill plan for your customers. So how do you do that is that basically our product is able to look into the flows. So when you're seeing the flows, it is the bandwidth that you're using, right? So it can benefit a user or it can benefit you as an ISP two ways. So you can create billing plans for monthly or quarterly. You can let us know what is the metric that we need to look at, whether speed or volume. So let's say I'm selecting volume and I am selecting dollars. What is the base volume? So how much I need to select. Um, so let's say 30 GB is my initial amount. What is the extra cost when it comes up? What is the taxes for my state? I can put that in. And if in case the usage is going more than a particular value, let's say like 80%, I can even set up an alert for that. So 80% of 30 GB has reached, I'll send you an alert. So the idea is once you go ahead and create this, you can actually see it from here, the view reports. Every single day, how much usage has come up. If in case it's going to increase, I can see on which particular interface it was using the graph also. So you not only know which interface or which particular device had used more, you can even see how much cost wise that was an increase. Yeah. So coming to that inventory report that we're talking about. So this inventory report is basically giving you the option to demarcate in and out data based on the traffic type. So how do you get to do that? It's very simple, or where exactly you would use it is a bird's eye view. You want to get a bird's eye view of all the traffic that's happened, and you can do it based on your utilization, volume, or so. So you get to choose, like let's say you're selecting the utilization based. I want to see which interfaces have used the traffic between 50 to 80% in the last 1 hour. and I can now select it and I can see the traffic based on that. So that's something that you can do from here. Uh, you can select between different sources or different interfaces also. So in my case, I'm selecting all interfaces and I'm trying to see the details. So it's telling me volume. It's talking to me about both the in and out, maximum, minimum, average. I can see the utilization if I want. It will be in percentage. So as I said, bird's eye view of all that interfaces that has come up. You can see it right there. So with that being said, let me talk to you about the next topic, which is the save and schedule reports. Yes, you can save reports with us because all the reports that you saw is basically like you giving in the criteria, taking a report right away. What if you need to create and save your own criteria-based reports and view them at any given point of time? So if that's the case, then you can use this, which is the report profile. So you have the option to create one of your choice. Go ahead and click on add profile. You can select which report you want. So let's say I need a conversation report, give it a name, and you go ahead and create a filter. So the idea of creating a filter is to customize the different kind of usage that you want. So there are two kinds of filters. One is include and if one is exclude. So include is to include certain values like the application source destination, the ACP protocol. And let's say I need to exclude certain applications. I can select the application, the ones that I don't want, I just select them and move it across. So once that is done, you can now go ahead and give it a name. Why? Because you will actually see it here under the filters, the different filters that we have, and you can select them and you can go ahead and create a report of your choice. Why this is helpful is rather than you going ahead and giving the credential or let's say the criteria again and again, you can set it up. So this is one for my application last day, 7 days. I just click on the view report. It is instantly available for me. So I don't need to do any change. It's right there. All I have to do is just go ahead and take it as a PDF and I can send it across to my colleagues if I want. That's something that you can do. Then we also have the schedule report. So as the name suggests, we are now adding a schedule for daily, weekly, and monthly, and you can even get notified using email. So how do you get to do that? Go to the schedule. You have to add a schedule with us. So you give it a name and all of that. This one catch here, as in like you have this report type. Not only the reports that you see here, there are some PDFs that are available within the inventory. You can even see all of them. So we have close to 20 plus reports that you can actually get right here. You can have a check. Output format, you want it in PDF or CSV, you want it to be with which source you need for interface group or IP group, or if you want this to be for scheduled at what time, daily, weekly, or monthly, or just once, or if you want to send out an email with the report as a zip file or PDF, you can do that too. So all of that under one single roof. So coming to the final topic, which is the dashboard and not view. So this is basically us letting you the ultimate customization. How this works is that we have dashboards for each of the metric that you want to see. So this can be for your traffic summary. So that's going to basically talk to you about the different let's say the devices that are sending in the flows. It will tell you what are there. So I have like 7 devices sending version 9. I have one wireless LAN controller, how much flow rate has come up, what are the statuses, as in like I can tell you whether a link or interface is up, or link is up and no flows, which means the flow is not coming in, but the link is up, which is another problem. And if a link is down, we have it with the color code information also, the recent alarms, the top protocols, the top QoS, or I can do this, which is going to network snapshot. So what this network snapshot basically does is it's telling me like the top interface by speed, by utilization. So you get to see that value too. Best part is when you know that any one particular application or interface is high, just click on that name of the device or interface. It will automatically take you to that device. So you start your troubleshooting right from then and there directly. Yeah. There's one more thing you can actually do. You can even create one dashboard of your choice. I'll show you how you do that. So go to next. What are the different widgets we have? It's listed here. You have traffic, I want conversation, and I want application. I go to next. These are the different users we have. We have administrator, operator, and guest. Administrator is, as I said, full read-write access. operator is selected, you provide the scope, they only get reader access for that scope of devices or groups. And guest only read access, they cannot do much. And the best part is when you go ahead and create one custom dashboard, you can actually see it here. When you go to the dashboard, you can go to the custom dashboard and you can see what was that dashboard that was created. And you get to see those particular widgets also. So if your widget is something very important, then you can even go ahead and set that up with us. As in, you can have it resized, you can have it framed, and you can see graphs also. As you can see, it's not only tabular column, you can see graphical information, as in like an entire graph can be seen. So as you can see here, you can also do one more thing, which is the knock view. You can mix and match between different dashboards, and you can see them on a large screen like this. So the idea is that if you have a knock team, you can have this projected on a large screen. You can see all that details under one single roof. So this is by default, it's in night mode. I can change it to day mode. I have a timer after which it will automatically switch to the next one. Or I can even manually do that from here. So I can switch and I can make it work. So these widgets that you can do, you can resize them. You can move them across. All of that can be done. So this is like the ultimate detail. So once you set up everything, just by looking into the dashboard, you can get all the important metrics, and from there you can start your troubleshooting. So speaking of troubleshooting, I just wanted to discuss how to find out an issue. So we have a scenario here, as you can see, where and why my bandwidth utilization is high. One of the network engineer's biggest problems. So this network, how it looks like, you can see it's ISP connecting to a firewall, then some internal devices like routers and switches. From your core router is then going to your switches and servers and all of that. So from this image, I can tell that, okay, this is the issue, the link between the switch and the server. But in a real time, how will you know? Because only if your users complain, they will tell you like there's high utilization and or like it's very slow. The link is slow. I'm not getting anything out of it. You will be quite shocked as a because you don't know where exactly it is or what is the source of where the issue is. But with NetFlow Analyzer, you can solve this issue in an instant. I'll tell you how. You can by identifying the source of congestion. So how do you get to do that? There are two ways. One is, let's say you're already logged into the product. All I will be doing is I'll go to the inventory, I'll go to the interface, or you saw that we have this dashboard that you can use here. That was snapshot, you can see that. So the basic idea is to see which particular device the utilization is high. So any one of those devices will show 80% because this is updated last hour, so which is like till this minute. You can see that. So as you can see, you can even see it like this. The top end interface by utilization is telling me that this is at 27%. This can be 80% also. So if that's the case, I click on that interface, I directly get to that, and I can see the usage as of what exactly is going wrong. I can see on the traffic tab where the spike is. I can now understand which application was used the most or which source, so which user it is. I can see, okay, so if this is the IP address, if I know that this is the person who's been using the most, I can block the port and I can work with that detail right away. So that's something I can do. But this is real. I mean, like, let's say this is like if you're logged into the product. What if you're not logged into the product? How do you get to do that from there? So if that is the case, then you can use our alert mechanism with our product. It's called as the alert profiles. Two types of alerts. One is going to be the basic alerting if in case the interface is not sending in flows. So that's a problem. So we call it the link down, which means the interface is down, not sending in flows. You can set up an alert for as low as 3 minutes. There's no flow, then you can get an alert. By default, you will get an email, but if you want to create a ticket, you can do that using the Service Desk Plus and the ticketing tool with us, ITSM tool. So if you already have the product, or if you're looking to evaluate that product, you know had it, and you have an added benefit. You have NetFlow Analyzer that can communicate with your ticketing tool. It can create a ticket over there, and it can also assign it to any engineer who's available at that particular time. So he can be notified that way. But the second type is the customizable alert. So there's a high utilization happening. How do I get a real-time alert? So you go ahead and click on add. You select the source that you want. So in my case, I'm selecting interface. I want to see between in traffic, out traffic, or both. I'm selecting that. And you can also do things like the threshold. So this is where the important thing comes up. What should trigger the alert? In our case, it was utilization. So I select that. So 80% usage has come up for almost 4 times within the last 30 minutes. If that's the case, then I go ahead and set up high severity, which is critical, trouble, mid, and attention least. Select that. I go ahead and select the different kind of alerting mechanisms we have. We have email uh, that can be sent to one or more email addresses, SNMP trap to a host, SMS to your phone, and log a ticket, again, integration with Services Plus. So these are different ways of how we can alert you in real time as the event happens. So even if you're not near the UI, even like right when your users uh, face this issue, you will also be alerted right away so that you can get started with that. So that's the basic idea of how you can find out an issue and work with it. So first you're finding out who or which part of the network is affected by identifying the source of the congestion. And finally, you get to the troubleshooting of the issue, not after the event has happened, right when the event has happened. So summary, we just saw how to get the initial settings right. What are the minimum requirements for downloading the product? What are the different metrics we show with respect to like the top talkers, the sources, the traffic tab. And we also looked into how do you go ahead and create groups with us to better visibility of the product, and what are the different reports that are available in our tool. And finally, we did have a look into how you customize the UI using the dashboard and a real-time alerting and identifying the issue source with our product. So that's what we saw for today. We do have some questions that has come up over the due course of the questionnaire from your comments section. So, and the questions. So the panelists have shared some with me. Let me go ahead and try to answer them so that all other participants can also get a gist of what the other questions were. So first question is, I configured only one interface for flow export, but NetFlow Analyzer shows multiple interfaces in the GUI. How do I fix this? Okay, so by default, we actually provide like the export flow or so. We will have it enabled for all interfaces. Why? Because let's say you have like 3 different ports, one, two, three, or something like that. So there are possibilities where the out port of number one interface is connected to the in port of number two. So if that's the case, then it's best that you add all of them so that you get the best metrics from your bandwidth. And you can actually say that, okay, there are like 3 interfaces. I don't want 2 of them. I just want one. How do I get to see them? So yes, you have a functionality within our tool. You go to settings, NetFlow. You see this one called as license management. So this is where we talk to you about the licenses, because our product is licensed based on the number of interfaces. So it will tell you how much you purchased or how much you have used so far and how much you can use in the future. So let's say for this device, they're monitoring 5. And in our classic example, I don't want the last 3. I just want to work with the first 2. I just select them, the ones I don't want, and I click on unmanage. Never click on delete, because if you do that, the data will be gone. Click on unmanage so that it will be taken off your license. So the details will still be in the database. It's just that you're not actively monitoring it. If you want to monitor it at any given point of time, again, just come back to the license management, click on unmanaged interface, and you can manage it back again. So it's that simple. You can work with it easily. So with that being said, let's go to question number 2. I am a service provider. I want to create a monitor specific link utilization that I assign to customers. So yes, this classic example of the group settings that we have. So he can create the groups for different devices, or link utilization. You can do it using this, the interface groups. You can create 4 channels. You have different options for that. Select the interface, let us know what the speed is, and you can create it. Or if you know the IP addresses of how your different clients are, just let us know the IP range, network, or individual IPs using this IP groups. We create it and we'll show it to you just like you need it. Question number three, configure devices to export the flows from NetFlow Analyzer. Add device option, the export flow. But the device is not showing in the GUI. Okay, this I think someone has tried it, and that's when he's seeing this issue. So this will happen because of one major thing. So you're sending out the flows, it's not coming in. It's basically because there's a port block. So as I said, our product is working this way. So if you look into the settings, general settings, server settings, that's where we'll show you what are the listener ports we have. So let's say this 9996 by default is not seen that not many organizations have this open. If you've installed this on a Windows machine, just make sure that you go to the Windows Defender or firewall with advanced settings. Go to the Defender, go to advanced settings, and you have the option to create an inbound and outbound rule. It is mandatory that you create an inbound rule and also outbound rule for the port. What port it is, you need to select UDP and whichever port that you saw under the server settings. So in our case, it's 9996. I just selected, I go ahead with next and allow the the transaction. So this is required for both inbound and outbound rules. So only when you have this, it will go ahead and send out the traffic. So, okay. So once the port block has been solved, you can now see the traffic coming in automatically. Question number four, why the interfaces are named as if index and how will I get the appropriate interface names? Okay, so if index comes up because when you have the flow exported directly from the device, because if you're using export flow, we can minimize this issue or we can eliminate this issue by already providing the SNMP credential to the device. So by default, it will come with the name fetched. If not, it will come up as IF index. That is what is available on the interface name. So I'll show you how it works. Go to the device. So there are two ways of how you can do it. So you go to the device, or you can even do it from the inventory. Just select the device, click on the three dots, and you have an option to associate the SNMP credential. Let us know what that credential is. First test it. When it works, just go ahead and click on OK. Second step is click on the same dots again, edit device, and you need to fetch the name from that router. And you have to select IF name so that we bring in the interface name. If you want to do it for a specific device, then just go to the device. There's a green hamburger menu and you can do it. For multiple devices, also possible. Just select them and work with that detail. Question number five, can I see the traffic based on geolocation? Yes, you can. I think I just showed it. So how do you get to do that is you just need to make sure that you get to any of the transaction, source, destination, or conversation. So what you do here is that when you go to that traffic, you have the option called geolocation and you can view the traffic based on that. So I'll show you. Go to the source. You have a button for geolocation, click on it and this will now identify the traffic based on the country-wise information and it will list it out to you like this. Okay. Question number six, configure the device to export NetFlow, but the data shown for the interface is not correct. So this will happen only if there's one major issue, if there's an issue with the configuration. So if you're manually entering the commands for your devices, just make sure that you check with the support so that we can provide you the best working configuration. Because there are some important commands like the sampler rate or let's say like the link speed of your interface, if that's not set up, there are chances that the data that you're getting will be different. So you can avoid that. Just let us know what is the configuration is. You can remove the confidential data like IP addresses and send it to us. Once you look into the configuration, we'll tell you what it's wrong and we can even guide you to the best one. So with that being said, going to question number 7. Can we configure alerts if a certain application uses more bandwidth? Yes, you can. So as I said, you can do it here using the alert profiles, create a profile, select the interface, and here you see application, right? Select the application of your choice, and once you have selected it, just go ahead and go to the next threshold, whether it's using high utilization or volume, speed, or packets. And if it's utilization as per the question, I can just go ahead and give in the values and automatically that will work. So with that being said, going to question number 8, can I create device-based reports with specific filter? Yes, you can. Go to reports, NetFlow, report profiles. That's basically what you're doing. You are creating a profile based on the different filters that we have. What filters? We have two. We have include and exclude. So you can create based on that, and you can create a report profile of your choice. Question number 9, is there an option to get comparison bandwidth report? Yes, we have a specific report based on that called as compare reports. Two types of comparison possible: multiple devices for same time, same device for different time frame. Final question, is there any option to have a dashboard widget to show real-time graph of an interface and set it as a knock screen? Great, I'll show you. It is possible. So go to any one of your interface. Okay, I think I should go to network performance. Yeah, so you can, like you see this tableau just like this one. So you can see that any graphs that I see, I can simply edit it, or the thing. It's showing you device based, just change it to interface based. And once that is done, I'll show you how it looks here. So that's the device base. This is the interface base. I'm selecting interface. I'm selecting which interface I want and what metric I want to see, utilization, or what details, top 5, top 10, all of that. So now I'm seeing a real-time graph, and I can have it expanded, and I can embed it. I can put it as a NAC view. So NAC view is very simple. You need to create a custom dashboard. So once that is done, if not, you can just select the ones that you want from here. Go ahead and click on NAC view. Just let us know what refresh time you want, 1 minute 30 seconds, and you can find the CCTV view or NAC view here. Okay. Yeah. So just for that to know that we do have this Gartner review that's going on. So if you have had a very good support from our end, and you can always go ahead and use this link that you have to write a review on the Gartner's page. That's going to that's going to give you some questions related to how the experience was with our product and its support. So if you follow this particular link, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card, and you can just use it and share your experiences right there. So the upcoming training is on the next week, same time, July 30th. So what we will be looking into is network security and troubleshooting. So we will be looking into network forensics, security analytics with NetFlow Analyzer, predicting and planning bandwidth needs. We'll also be looking into traffic shaping, distributed monitoring available with our product, and what are the new features and updates that we have, because we do update our product every 2 to 3, I mean, like minimum at least a month. So we bring in some new features. You can see that all of them under the same that particular session. So please do hop in. Same time, you will also you can get it from our, you'll already get a link, but you can join in too. If you need any help from our end to understand how the product works, or if you're already an esteemed customer with us, you need to have some queries with what you saw today, you have this is a recorded session, because if you want to see the previous ones, you can always go to our YouTube channel, which is Op Manager Tech Videos, available at youtube.com. You can have a complete set. You can see that there. We have our online help document available at help.netflow.com. We also have a pit stop. It's like the technical community that we have. So if you have any FAQs that you want to check, you can go to forums.manageengine.com/NetFlow That is dedicated forum for NetFlow Analyzer there. Or if you want to write to us for support, let's say if you're an evaluator, you want to get a product demo, or if you are already an esteemed customer and you have some questions, just drop in an email. to our support at NetFlow Analyzer support at ManageEngine.com. Or if you want a quote for our product, so let's say if you need to purchase it, or if you're trying to get an upgrade so with your regular setup, send out an email to sales@manageengine.com. And if you want to reach out to us for our support line, you have the numbers listed out there. The toll-free number is 888-720-9500. And we also have the dedicated line, which is 408-916-9400. So that will directly reach you to NetFlow Analyzer, and you can have the doubts cleared. So with that being said, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining in to this training session part one, and even making up till the last side. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day. This is Deepak signing off.